Blessings, 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 beautiful people. And welcome to Divorce into Deliverance. I'm your host, Apostle Dr. Franata Wilkerson. Some of you have been crying over what God has already cut off. Okay, you're holding funerals for things God meant to bury and resurrect you from. Okay, but I need you to hear me and hear me in the spirit. Divorce was not your destruction, okay? It was actually your deliverance. What you thought was rejection was actually God's redirection, okay? The marriage ending was not the interview. It was the birthing room. It was the birthing room of your destiny. Isaiah 43:18 through 19, okay? Remember ye not the former things, neither consider the things of old. Behold, I will do a new thing. Now it shall spring forth. Listen, God will tear you away, okay, to pull you into purpose. He'll do that. Sometimes God has to separate you, okay, from what you love so much, what you love more than Him, so that He, okay, can give you what you need. Let me say this without sugarcoating, okay? That man, he wasn't enough for your anointing. Okay, that woman, she wasn't rooted enough for your destiny. Okay, God saw what you couldn't see. So what He did was He ripped you out of the relationship, okay, that would have robbed you of your future. So stop cursing God, okay? Stop cursing what God used to cure you. Stop crying over what God killed to keep you alive. Stop questioning, okay, the tear when it was the very surgery that saved your soul. Stop doing that to yourself. Listen, divorce was not the demotion. It wasn't a demotion for you. It was deliverance in operation. God had to tear you away from dead weight so that your destiny could finally breathe. Okay? That marriage may have failed, but God's covenant over your life, that can never be broken. Men have walked out, but listen, when man walked out, God stepped up because God never stepped out. They filed the papers, but heaven signed promises. Okay? Jeremiah 29:11, that says, "For I know the thoughts that I think towards you, said the Lord, thoughts of peace and not evil, to give you an expected ending." Listen, your ex thought that leaving you would break you, but the truth is leaving you actually released you. You were too big for that small cage. God had to set you free. He had to set you free. Now listen, let's dig into my first point, okay? Let's dig into my first point. God will tear you away to pull you into purpose. That is my first point. Listen, sometimes the knife of separation, okay, is the only tool God can use to cut you loose. Because you see, when you won't walk away voluntarily, God will orchestrate a divine tearing. Okay, that tearing may feel devastated. Okay, you may feel heartbroken. You may get hurt in the middle, but in reality, it's preservation. Okay, 2 Corinthians 6:17. Wherefore, come out from among them, and be ye separate, said the Lord. Listen, the word separate here means to mark off by boundaries, to serve for a purpose. God's separation is not rejection. Okay, it's redirection. You were yoked to someone who couldn't carry your calling. Okay, their inability to handle your mantle was suffocating your destiny. The relationship, it was like Egypt. Familiar but fatal. I'll say it like that. It gave you bread, but it stole your breath. And God said, if you stay, you'll die in comfort. If you leave, you'll live in calling. Just think of a butterfly in a jar. Okay? The butterfly is alive, but it will never spread its wings inside that container. Just think about it. That marriage became your jar. You were living, but not flying. God had to break the jar, okay? So that the wings that he gave you could finally take flight. Some of you have been praying for freedom while holding on to capacity. Listen, God answered your prayer. He did, by tearing you out of that situation. Listen, Israel begged for Egypt. Okay? But Egypt was killing their identity. God used plagues, pain, and pressure to force Pharaoh's hand. Okay? He made Egypt so bitter that Israel couldn't even stay there. Exodus 13 and 17, and it came to pass when Pharaoh had to let the people go, that God led them not through the way of the Philistines. Listen, he didn't just set them free. He directed them to destiny. Your divorce was your exodus.